poems from my chapbook, and as I said, they all have kind of atrocity somehow as their theme. But this is a poem that tries to broach issues of atrocity, I guess, from a side angle. So Emily Dickinson has this quote that says, "Tell all the truth, but tell it slant." And a lot of my work is trying to kind of tell the truth slant, I think. So this poem is called "A Fire," and it's kind of a dictionary definition of the word "afire," not kind of the noun, but the verb "fire." As in a girl's scalp, pulled tight in braids, as in her dream, the Ferris wheel she knew from books, drinks men bought their lady friends, as in her lungs, the night men rose around her bed, stood on her father's back, as in their breath, the poison smoke she sprayed a nest of wasps the summer last. She waited for the sun to set, then aimed the poison underground. They rose in 2s and 3s around her ankles, above her knees, and as they died, they clung to her dress like men. Too scared of being stung to run inside, the hum of dying filled her chest. As in a skirt of dying wasps, as in her dream, a drink with lemon, the swirl of city lights, as in her father, pleading for their lives. She knew love bound in a braid, in a twist, parted, knotted, pinned with daisies, jeweled butterflies. She knew each argument curled from the one before, each whitening grew from sleeplessness, tears, hair a sacrament, a groveling. She knew revenge, the sound of each strand pressed to metal shears, coils alive at her feet, the rungs of her chair. Now that you're bald, a weightlessness, a quickening. This is also a newer poem. It came out of this last summer's attention again to the anniversary of the Charles Manson murders, and I was reading an LA magazine article about it, and there was this long discussion with one of the prosecutors on the Charles Manson case. His name was Vincent Bugliosi, and his quote actually begins the poem, and his quote is, "Where was God in the La Bianca home and in the Tate residence? Christians believe God is omniscient, so evidently he was there those nights and just decided not to do anything." So this is omniscience. God said quiet, and quiet spread. God said night, and night took hold of everything. Red songbird throats, red shawl of sunrise. The earth on its axis held its breath. The ocean stopped to stare. "Here," God said, dusty summer road, tire treads, electric gate. Palms opened to say wait. Palms opened against knife blade. "Break," God said, and breaking spread.
It has been a really shitty 2 months for me at home. Things have been really crappy, within my family and whatnot, which none of you, it's that important. No, it's not important. So tonight we're going to laugh. I'm going to read stuff that's actually, got lots of pathos and stuff, because frankly I had to do it for myself, because we're having family issues that will be resolved soon enough. But for tonight, this reading is actually for me, because I need to have a good time tonight. So I'm glad that you guys are all here tonight with me too. I mentioned William Carlos Williams, who was one of my first influences. He's still the guy I kind of go back to when I start reading poetry again. He was a fantastic writer out of New Jersey, Doc, who over his whole life was just dedicated singularly to the poem. And he's the guy I still go back to. So I'm going to open tonight with a piece by Williams. And it was written really in the height of the Depression in 1934. But I think it speaks to this time as well, with our economy as it is. And it's just one of my favorite pieces by Williams. To a poor old woman, munching a plum on the street, a paper bag of them in her hand. They taste good to her. They taste good to her. They taste good to her. You could see it by the way she gives herself to the one half, sucked out in her hand, comforted, a solace of ripe plums seeming to fill the air. They taste good to her. Remember that piece. We'll get back to something like it as we go along here. When I am here in Los Angeles, I like to read a piece that I wrote to my hometown. It means a lot to me to be back and to read with you guys tonight. Los Angeles, Sub Rosa. She may not be Paris, but she is still a pretty nice place in which to die fully. Born by a river, with lightly applied brushstrokes of plausible insanity, a Calvary of shattering sadness, a theology barely working. To know her, to really know her, is to redefine the meaning of pale and interesting. A smiling serpent, oddly coiled, her strike point, delicious anticipation rather than outright delivery, a phlebotomist's worst nightmare, as pure as something you might see in a silent film. So chaste, so suffering, so much love, so brutally misplaced, like Saint Bernadette or General Franco. When she gives you extreme unction, you will not be surprised when quickly and quietly she slices off her cheeks because she no longer wants her tears to stick to her face. My hometown, and we're all living. If I had a clit. If I had a clit, I would probably pierce it. Hell, I would probably pierce it twice. One for the button and one for the hood. The metal pearls beating against each other with a Morse code not known since Eden. I would buy a vintage motorcycle, a big one, like a Triumph Thunderbird, and ride it around town all day, in all kinds of weather, even the most violent, guaranteeing lightning orgasms, thunderous satisfaction. If I had a clit, I would share it with everyone. It would feel good to me. It would feel good to me. It would feel good to me.
Derelict in the skin yard, pulls at the bone through the nose of civilization. He's got a hammer and it feels like it would like to meet you. He's got a hammer and it's swinging. It's swinging and it's a good time. It's a good time to be the short man.
Whoa.
Holes. There are holes in the desert. There are people in the holes. There are holes in the people. There are worms in the holes. There are holes in the worms. There's desert in the holes. There are holes in the desert.
Whoa.